Hello, Mark here. This video is going to cover, it's a basic tutorial, boy, say that word fast 3 times, tutorial on how to set up the Rage dual stage primary clutch. Okay, this will probably save you a lot of aggravation, so I suggest to watch the entire video. Okay, we got one here assembled. It does not have a primary spring in it. If you receive one of these things, first thing to do is obviously watch this video, and I can't stress enough, read the directions. Okay. Alright, first part of this video we're going to discuss roller changes for the first stage. We're going to call these little black arms first stage cam arms, and then of course, you know, the conventional arms, whatever you got in there, we're going to call that the second stage. So whenever I say first stage, you'll know that it's the cam arms that pivot off the spider, and when I say second stage, the cam arms that pivot inside the movable sheave and hit the spider roller. Okay, moving on. Alright, I've got a roller pin already basically loosened up here. This is pretty simple stuff. It's not rocket science. Just remove the shoulder bolt and pull your roller out of there, and then replace it with whatever size roller you want. We supply you with different size rollers in the kit. So, okay. Now the reason we changed the rollers, I'll walk you through this. I've got a small roller on this location, and I've got a larger roller on this location. And I'm going to cycle this guy, and you can see. Let me take this washer out of the picture so it doesn't confuse you. We'll cover this part a little later. Okay. Now I'm going to shift the clutch. As the clutch shifts, and you see where that arm lets go right here. This guy right here is what I'm talking about. Watch. You'll see right about there it stops moving. See that? And it's let go of the roller. It is not contacting that roller at that point. Let's see. Let's move this clutch right to there. Right there. I'm going to turn this clutch, holding it at the same location. As you can see, the larger roller, that arm is still pushing on that roller. It's not done. It hasn't finished its job yet. That's because the roller is higher up. So now it's going to take longer for that first stage to finish. So by increasing the roller diameters, we can make the shift last longer. Okay. I would suggest, the way we set these up is we send the small rollers in the clutch. I would suggest tuning from that point. And if you feel that you need more grunt down low for a longer duration, then move on to the larger, where to go, the larger roller. Okay? But for the most part, I would start out with the small rollers. Okay. Moving on to adjusting the first stage cam arms. There's a couple of different ways, well, there's a few different ways to adjust these guys, so we might as well get started on that. Here's what your spider looks like when it's out of the clutch. Okay, this is a quick change, obviously. You know, we sell them in either screw-on or quick change. This is quick change. This is what your arms, they should pivot freely inside your spider. If they don't, you may have used too much Loctite on the socket head cap screws. It may have got inside the bushing or whatever. Pull it apart, clean it off, and make them pivot nice and easy like that. Okay. There's a set screw underneath these guys. Okay. That can be used as a stop to shorten the shift of these arms. Okay. Backing the set screw out lengthens the shift. Screwing the set screw in shortens the shift. Okay. And I'll go back to the primary and give you an idea. If we say let's see if I get that arm to stop. Say in a spider we set, it's going to fall on me, isn't it? Say we set the cam arm to that point with a set screw. Okay. Well, this clutch starts at that, you know, a little above that point. Cam arm comes down, hits the stop. The clutch has only moved approximately 1/4 inch. So what you've done is you've let the first stage only shift for 1/4 inch, and then the second stage takes over. But you can let this thing, if you back that set screw all the way out, this thing will go for probably, you know, 3/4 of the shift before it lets go. So nice little feature, a lot of adjustment there in your spider. I would suggest starting out with backing the set screw out. Let that cam arm come straight out. What's going to happen is it'll never go past that point, 90 degrees to the rotational axis, due to, you know, physics for sure. And that arm will never go past that point. Okay, so if you take the set screw out, it's still not going to go any farther. Okay, another way to adjust these arms is to add mass to them. Now in a kit we supply you with 1 gram washers, okay, and a torque screw, okay. Installation of these washers. Now, if you put 4 of these washers on this arm, okay, on one side, you can add 4 washers to each side of the arm, but if you add 4 washers to one side of the arm, you do not need a black O-ring underneath of it, okay. If you add 1 washer, you're going to need an O-ring under it. If you add 2 washers, you're going to need an O-ring under it. If you add 3 washers, you're going to need an O-ring under it. And the reason for that, if you don't put an O-ring under there, these guys are they're going to sit there, they're going to just vibrate back and forth, okay? So the O-ring comes with these washers in the kit. If you use less than 4 washers, you need an O-ring, okay? I don't suggest going any heavier than, in most applications, I have never used more than 4 washers at a time, and we're talking 600 horsepower snowmobiles. You know, I personally help tune this stuff, and I have one of my own that makes a lot of horsepower, and I have never used more than 4 washers in one location. So if you're adding gobs of weight here, there's something else going wrong. Okay. I don't suggest doing any more than, say, I mean, maximum of 8. Okay. But I don't suggest going that heavy. I don't think you'll need it. Another slick way of tuning these guys is just to run 2 of them. You don't have to run all 4. You know, you can take 2 out just as long as they're opposed to each other, 180 degrees apart, 1 on each side. Okay, don't run 2 90 degrees apart. Your clutch will wobble. You'll have a bad vibration. Okay, it'll throw it out of balance. You could take 2 of them out, and that'll increase your engagement quite a bit. Maybe you don't need that kind of squash on the belt in the first stage. I would suggest, if you don't need any first stage, take them all out. You can take all 4 of them out and still run a clutch. A conventional setup. Alright, now to remove these arms, there is the pivots off a small pin that sits down inside here, okay, inside the spider. We use socket cap screws to hold that pin in, okay. Remove those 2 screws and pull the arm up towards you. As the spider's facing you, pull them towards your face, okay, up. When I say up, that's up. Alright, a couple easy ways of doing it. One way, the hardest way, is to pull a cover off the primary, which to me is a pain in the butt. I don't like messing with springs and screws and spring compressors and blah 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 blah. Busted knuckles. I don't like busted knuckles, that's for sure. Alright, if you take the cover off, you can access obviously from the top, okay? And then in order to get those arms out, you have to cycle the clutch a little bit, move it up, pop that arm towards up, okay? Let's say up is where my finger's going, and then pull it out the hole. You will not be able to remove the spider without getting these arms out of there, okay? Can't happen, impossible. A simpler way of doing this say we got a spring in there, is we have a little tool that comes in the kit, okay? You should have this. It should have came with the clutch. Let me move this camera so you kind of see what I got here. It's a piece of threaded rod, a little UH&W cup that goes over the top. If you got the spring in it, it's going to look like that. Remove the clutch bolt. You got to take the clutch bolt out, okay? That's the only downfall of this, but that's not the big deal. We don't want you prying on the clutch with screwdrivers and stuff, okay? We don't want you busting your knuckles. Put this thread rod inside there, thread it in there a good half-inch, or whatever. Run this nut down. You can run this nut down with a socket, or you can run in a wrench, or you can use your impact. But it'll collapse the clutch to that point right there. Let's see if you can see the clutch, how far it's collapsed. All right. Now I've got room to get my cam arms out. I can remove the pin, and I can pull my cam arm right out of there. I can have my fingers in here all day long. I don't have to worry about this thing hurt me. I don't know if I've done it. If you've ever got your fingers snagged in one of these babies, it does not feel good. You can also access the first stage arms through these holes. Okay, you can undo the 2 socket cap screws, and you can pop this up and pull it out. Okay, you can access them that way. So pretty slick. I like this tool. Has saved me. Well, the reason I started throwing these in the clutches because I made one for myself in my own personal toolbox. So.